In this week's video, we're going to be looking at how to live a more healthy lifestyle and be more healthy. This is going to be a two-part series. This is episode 1. We're going to be first looking at dietary advice and why a healthy diet is so important. We're going to be looking at exercise, how often you should be doing it and why it's so important. And we're going to be looking at sleep hygiene and most importantly, sleep quality and why this is all so important to maintain that healthy lifestyle. Now, please do make sure that you keep an eye out for part 2 of how to be more healthy and live a more healthy lifestyle. In part 2, we're going to be looking at how to maintain your mental health, your well-being. We're going to be looking at alcohol intake and how to reduce it because too much of it can have a negative effect on your health. And also we're going to be looking at smoking and loads more. So keep an eye out for it, and I will leave a link for it up here and in the description below when it's available. Now, even though I've split this video into 2 episodes, I know it's going to be a long video. It's going to be jam-packed full of information. So if at any point you want to find a specific piece of information, I am going to timestamp it, I am going to chapter it, all in the description below, so feel free to click it and click on whichever section you want to know about. But I would highly recommend that you watch the entire video and learn everything that we go through. Now, let's begin. So let's begin with a healthy diet and why is it so important? Look, I know for a fact when I say the word diet, a lot of people think of these novelty, celebrity, fad diets that are available, and yes, they help some people lose weight. But please remember this, look, if you reduce your calorie intake, no matter what the diet is, you will lose weight. This is a fact. That's the basics of a diet, okay? You reduce your calorie intake, you're gonna lose weight. But please do remember, a lot of these novelty fad diets are very, very restrictive. And if you're restricting your body from those nutrients and minerals and those essentials that your body needs, it's gonna be unhealthy for you. Another problem is that these restrictive diets are also very hard to follow. So yeah, you might lose some weight, but then eventually you're going to go back to your old ways and you'll put that weight back on. So in this video, we're not going to be talking about these fad diets, okay? We're going to be talking about a healthy, balanced diet and going through exactly what that is. So let's go back to the basics when we talk about a healthy diet. Look, the total amount of food that each person should eat varies from person to person, and this depends on loads of things like your age, your lifestyle, your health conditions, loads and loads of different things. However, the recommended amount of each food group that each person should have is generally the same in the population. Now, before we go into any more detail about the healthy diet, I just quickly want to say this is all general information that applies to the general population of adults who are healthy and fit. However, this information is not for children as their dietary needs and requirements are different. Also, if you're an adult and you have any food intolerances, or if you have any medical conditions that require a strict diet, please speak to your healthcare professional first and get their advice. Okay, so let's carry on. So when I say a healthy diet, we're actually looking at a healthy, balanced diet with the correct proportions of each food group. So there's 5 food groups that we're talking about. There's fruit and veg, starchy foods, dairy, proteins and fats. So let's begin with fruits and vegetables. You want to try and eat at least 5 portions of fruit and veg each day for this to be about 1/3 of what your meals consist of. One portion can be in the form of 80 grams of fresh, canned or frozen fruit and veg, or 30 grams of dried fruit. And you want to try and have a wide variety. Remember, fruit and vegetables are packed full of nutrients, vitamins and antioxidants, and getting in as many different types as possible allows you to maximize the different benefits that each one contains. Now, moving forward, the next main food group we've got are those starchy foods. You want this to be 1/3 of what your meals consist of. Foods in this group include things like bread, like rice, like pasta and potatoes, and these are great sources of energy for our bodies. Try to choose whole grain options whenever you can, as these contain more fiber and help keep our gut healthy and moving. So if you think about it so far, imagine we have a plate, 1/3 of it are those starchy foods that we just spoke about, the other 1/3 are those fruit and vegetables that we just spoke about, and now we need a bit of protein. Our body needs protein to grow and repair itself, okay? And there's loads of great sources of protein out there, such as meat, such as chicken, such as fish, such as beans, such as pulses. There's loads of them, and I will leave more information about all of these in the description below. Please do remember though, try to avoid eating too much red meat and also try to avoid eating too much processed meats, especially things like bacon and sausages. Studies have shown that there is a possible link between these and bowel cancer. And do try to choose lean cuts of meats where you can, and try to aim for 2 portions of oily fish such as salmon or mackerel a week. Oily fish are a great source of vitamin D, which we need to keep our bones healthy. They also contain omega-3, which is thought to help prevent heart disease. Now, if you want more information on vitamin D and how to get more vitamin D from your diet, I do have a video on that topic, which I will leave a link at the top and in the description below. Now, moving on to the next food group, which is needed for that healthy, balanced diet, and that's dairy. Dairy can be found in milk, in cheese, in yogurts, and we need dairy for that protein, we need it for the calcium, and we need it for the vitamins. Now, if you do follow a vegan diet, there are alternatives available such as soya, almond and rice milk products, and when choosing dairy products, try to look for low fat and low sugar options whenever you can. And moving on to the last food group for a healthy, balanced diet, fats. Yes, we do need fats. We need fats to help us absorb those fat-soluble vitamins, but we don't need loads. We only need a bit, and we need those healthy fats. We don't want too much saturated fats. We don't want too much of those bad fats that are going to give us the bad cholesterol and increase our risk of heart disease and cardiovascular disease and increase our risk of strokes and loads more other things. So avoid eating too much of things like butter, like ghee, like palm oil, hard cheese, pastries and chocolate. These are just a few examples, so I'll leave a longer list in the description below, and if you do want more information on how to reduce your cholesterol levels, I do have a video on that as well, which I'll leave a link at the top of the video and in the description below. Now, the next thing that I want to talk to you about in terms of living a healthy lifestyle is salt and sugar intake. Look, if you're having too much salt, it's going to increase our blood pressure slowly, which is going to put more strain on your heart, it's going to increase your risk of heart attacks, it's going to increase your risk of strokes, and also it's going to put lots of pressure on your kidneys too. And eating too much sugar can also lead to weight gain, tooth decay, and increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Now, I do understand, and I am a realist, that we do need salt and sugar in our foods to make them more tasty. However, we need to do it in moderation. That's the key word. So our maximum amount of salt that we should eat per day is 6 grams, and the maximum of sugar you should eat per day is 30 grams. And the best way to stay on top of this is 1, cooking more home-cooked foods, and 2, when you are buying food products from the supermarket, have a read of the nutritional labels, see how much salt is in there, see how much sugar is in there, and work out whether you're going above the maximum recommended amount. Now, in order to have a healthy diet, we also need to stay hydrated. This is also a really important point because water is essential for helping maintain our body, helping us flush out waste stuff, helping our cells be regulated, helping produce hormones, helping produce saliva, and loads more. So it's recommended to try and aim for 6 to 8 glasses of fluid a day, which can be a mix of water, low-fat milk, sugar-free drinks, and please remember, teas and coffees, these also count to your daily water intake. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking to yourself, wow, that healthy diet stuff is actually quite complicated and it can be quite overwhelming doing it all properly. So the best advice I can give you for that is do it one step at a time. You don't need to change everything all at once. You now know the basics and you can work on it. I will also leave more information about all of these in the description below. However, if you are interested as well in losing weight or anything like that, I do have a few videos on this topic too, on healthy ways to lose weight, looking at a study done in Oxford, which has got some really good stats behind it. So if you are interested, I will leave links to it up here and in the description below too. So now that we've discussed the healthy, balanced diet and we're a bit of a pro at it now, the next thing that I want to talk to you about is exercise. And exercise goes hand in hand with the healthy, balanced diet. Look, studies have shown that if you exercise regularly, it can reduce your chances of getting major illnesses such as type 2 diabetes, such as heart attacks, such as having strokes, such as getting even cancer by up to 50%. Exercise has also been shown to reduce your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your blood sugars. It's also been linked potentially to reducing your risk of Alzheimer's or dementia. Another thing that exercise does is it releases those endorphins, those feel-good hormones, and it's been linked to improving your mood, reducing your chance of depression, increasing your self-esteem, so it also helps with that mental well-being as well. And if all that's not good enough, studies have also shown that exercise reduces your chance of early death by 30%. So what are you waiting for? Let's talk about exercise. So when it comes to exercise, I always find that there's a lot of different information out there for how much of this exercise to do, how much of that exercise to do, so I'm going to make it very simple for you. It's recommended that adults aged 19 to 64 should aim to be active every single day. with muscle strengthening activities on at least 2 days a week, and at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity activities or 75 minutes of vigorous activity once a week. You can also do several short sessions throughout a week to reach your target instead of it all being in one block so it's easier for you. Now please do remember that these are rough guidelines, and the amount of exercise activity that you actually do can be dependent on your physical health, your age, if you're pregnant, your fitness level, so all of these can be factors that you have to take into consideration. You may also choose to do more moderate intensity activity throughout the week, or you may choose to do more vigorous activity 1 day a week as a big block, whatever fits you really. So as I mentioned, it really depends what suits you, and if you've got any medical conditions that might prevent you from doing certain activities, or you're a bit worried about it, then definitely speak to your healthcare professional about it and get their advice on it before commencing all this physical activity. Moving on to the next topic, I know we all live busy lives these days, and sleep unfortunately is massively overlooked. The quality of sleep that we get, how much of it that we get, what we're doing before we go to sleep, all of this comes into one word which we call sleep hygiene. A good quality of sleep allows your body to recover energy, boost your immune system and repair itself by making new tissue. It also gives your brain a break, allowing it to recover and process the events of the day, store memories and de-stress. In fact, sleep is so important for a healthy lifestyle that not getting enough of it can be really negative for your health. So not getting enough sleep regularly can actually increase your risk of diabetes, obesity, heart disease. It can also increase your risk of depression and anxiety, and not getting enough sleep considerably for a long time has also been linked to increasing your risk of certain cancers. So how much sleep do we actually need? Well, the average adult requires 8 to 9 hours of sleep per night. I want you to remember this number. This is the number that everyone should be aiming for. So get into the habit, get into a cycle so your internal body clock can adjust to it, and you're going to get used to sleeping at a certain time and waking up at a certain time and getting that essential sleep. Now the problem is, when poor sleep has become your routine, your internal body clock adjusts to that. Now there are ways that you can reverse this and change it, and I'm going to go through this now. I also do have a video on sleep hygiene and how to get a better quality sleep, a full video on this topic. So if you do want more information on this, because I'm briefly going to go through this, please feel free to click on that video up here or in the description below. So step number one of the best things that you can do before going to bed is going for a hot bath or a nice hot shower to help relax those muscles and get you ready for sleep. This is one of the top things that you can do just to help you fall asleep if you're going to struggle because you're not used to that routine. Tip number 2, in the evening time before you're about to go to bed, you need to start doing relaxing activities. You don't want to be doing a massive gym workout or going for a massive run in the evening before you're going to go to bed. This is going to make it very difficult for you to fall asleep. So for example, try listening to calming music or reading a book. This can help distract your mind from any anxieties that may be otherwise keeping you up and help to put you in a more tranquil mode. Light exercises such as yoga, such as stretches, can also help with the tension and getting the tension out of your muscles. Just make sure, like I said, that this is gentle, as strenuous activity can make it worse and more difficult for you to fall asleep. Moving on to tip number 3, it's those pesky electronics and TVs and all that sort of stuff. You need to keep away from them. Studies have shown that if you're on these in the evening or prior to going to sleep, it increases the latency of you falling asleep. So it's going to take longer for you to fall asleep and you're going to have poor quality sleep as a result of it. It's thought that the blue lights emitted by these devices may suppress our body's ability to produce melatonin. Now, melatonin is a hormone produced by our brain in response to darkness that helps promote our body prepare for sleep. So try and avoid these an hour or so before bed for better sleep. Now, as I mentioned, these are just a few quick tips that you can do. I've got loads more information on a previous video that I've done on how to fall asleep. Let's say it's had millions of views and it's helped millions of people around the world. So if you do want more information on that, again, feel free to click on that link up here or in the description below. So that's part 1 of how to live a healthy lifestyle and be generally more healthy. Please do stay tuned for part 2 where we talk about different aspects such as mental health, your well-being, alcohol intake, smoking and loads more. Please do remember, however, if you're constantly feeling tired or if things aren't feeling normal, if you feel like you need any support or help, please do speak to your healthcare professional. Don't waste time, don't leave it for later. Talk to your healthcare professional. They might be able to examine you, they might be able to do some blood tests. They need to speak to you and see what is going on. That is the most important thing. Please do not leave anything. You know your body better than anyone else. So if you notice anything different, if you notice any changes, just speak to a healthcare professional. So that's the end of part 1. Please stay tuned for part 2. I will leave a link to it in the description below when it's out. If you've got any of your own tips, please do leave a comment below as well. I'd love to read it. I'm sure people watching this video would love to read it. And as I always say, always remember you're awesome, and I will see you next week. Hey guys, thanks for watching this week's video. Make sure to click that like, follow or subscribe button now to stay up to date with new weekly videos.